following program is brought to you by friends and partners of End Time Headlines.
All right, what is up, everybody? It is Thursday night, August the 13th. We want to welcome everybody to the program, and we have a very special treat for you tonight. He is no stranger to the program. We've had him on, I believe, a couple times at least, but it's been a while since we've had him on. And we're talking about none other than our good friend, Billy Crone. Billy, it's great to have you back, man. I realized the other day that last time I talked to you, I think was what, in Idaho?
Yeah. We were discussing the heritage of potatoes and the prophetic implications on the body of Christ. It was, dude, you come up with the greatest topics, I'm telling you.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, we've been doing this for so long, man. You just kind of, you kind of flow with it. But look, we're excited. For you guys that don't know Billy, which I find it hard to believe, he has a great website. It's called Get a Life Media, getalifemedia.com. Let me see if we can pull this up here on a full screen shot over here of his website. Right there, you can go and it gives you all the information about his ministry. I'm going to let him talk a little bit here in just a second. I know he's embarking into new endeavors. He's got a brand new book out. And look, guys, he wrote this book, which is amazing, shed a light on a lot of stuff with Stargate. And then the sequel to that was, and I hope I do have these in the right order, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm always double checking myself. And then came out with this one. And then, and Billy, what's the book that you're just now releasing that got some brand new information on the days of Noah?
All right. Well, let me see if I can get some mileage out of these exciting plugs because we hit a perfect storm. Man, we just the way the studies worked out, we released a bunch at the same time. We just released recently this bad boy, the book of Revelation, chapter 1, The Unveiling. And this is the deepest dive I've ever gone on Revelation. I'm currently teaching on Sundays in the book of Revelation. I'm now in chapter 2. This is chapter 1. This took me 16 weeks to go through. I went through in the original language, took my time. It's the unveiling of the real Jesus Christ who's coming back to this planet real soon to rule and reign. So that was the first shot across the bow. Then when we launched Get a Life Church, I started with the deepest dive I've ever done on spiritual warfare, Ephesians 6 through 10. The armor of God, 10 weeks on 10 verses. And again, I tore it apart in the original Greek. It's the deepest dive I've ever done on this topic, the armor of God. So we did that. And you're right. We just released just a few days ago our latest book on creation versus evolution. This is actually volume 4. And I deal with Noah's Ark, lost cities, and the Nephilim. The deepest dive I've ever done on all things Noah, not just before, but after, including the issue of giants, the Nephilim. It's the deepest I've ever gone on that topic and came away with some pretty awesome revelations on that.
Wow, that's exciting. So I know I'm going to have to get a copy of that myself, and always enjoy your information. Look, I love your books, but I'm just being honest with you. I love your presentations more when you do your videos because of all the. Yeah. I'm just more of a visual audio person. That's just how I've always been. Don't get me wrong. I love books, but I think I got a little touch of adult ADHD. So my problem is, Billy, it's not my problem is not that I can't read a book. It's hard to finish it because I get distracted and get on to something else and another topic. So it takes me a long time to finish a book because I'm hopping all over the place. Anyway, look, man, it's great to have you back on. I want to get right into this. First, before we do that, guys, everybody's watching, listening, audio, video, YouTube, Facebook. If you're listening by Apple, by Spotify, help us out. You know the drill. Get this out on the algorithm. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification. And you guys on Apple and Spotify, if you'll hit that review, if you'll give us a good review, that's as good as hitting share and hitting that like button as well. So we appreciate everybody that'll take the time. It only takes a second to do that, guys, and it really helps all of us out when we have ministries like this to get the word out. So So, Billy, I was telling you off camera, and I want to remind everybody Monday night, if you didn't catch our Monday night stream, we talked about the origins of the golden age. We talked about the technocrats, the tech giants, and their obsession with naming these language models and everything that they're creating after these mythological gods. Billy, I know you probably know about this, but Elon Musk in Texas, they're erecting a 50-foot statue of Prometheus, and the individual that's involved in this, they're wanting to do this nationwide. Did you see that report on that?
Well, a lot of this behavior that you're mentioning with referring to the other gods is not a surprise. Elon Musk, by the way, we dealt with him in a massive mega detail. If you haven't seen our study, it's a 2-part documentary book DVD set, The Global Elites and the Antichrist. And in volume 2, I took a deep dive on all things Elon Musk, and he is not our friend. And I found 11 direct parallels, 11, not 5, not 2, 11 direct parallels of the business ventures he's involved in that are exact parallels of the Great Reset agenda. So this guy is building the global beast system. You can't escape it. Most people are catching on to the Starlink, the Neuralink connection, but it goes way deeper than that. I also deal with the background of these global elites, including Musk. And I don't know how to put it other than it's dark and it's satanic. Yeah. And if you want a taste of it, just go take a look at one of his many wives. And he's, I think, fathered 13 children now or something like that. And one of them was Grimes, very satanic. Man, why you would link up with that? But you look at his mom, May Musk, involved in modeling. Go look at online, general search. She's doing some freaky occult stuff and all kinds of stuff. So that's a part of his heritage. So my point is, so combined with the occult background that a lot of these elites have and are still involved in, by the way, and that came out in the Epstein files, but also combine it with their belief of transhumanism. And part of the belief in transhumanism is that they're the new gods on the planet. And so, shocker, why would they pick, mythological characters, demigods, and godlike creatures to name their programs and things of that nature and to honor themselves? It's because this is the same mindset. It's coming from the same root.
Right. Now, since you've opened that can of worms, let's dig a little bit deeper on this. So it's not just Elon Musk, but it's Peter Thiel. It's Larry Ellison. We know them three, amongst others. All of them has this this endeavor to push humanism. That's like their goal. And and they want to speed up this process of what they call evolution into, again, and I'm gonna let you go into this on what's the point of this? Like, why do we want to reach this level of humanity?
Well, we don't get a choice. They're choosing it for us. And that's their own words. Because again, and this is in their own words, it's not hyperbole, it's not a conspiracy theory, it's in print, it's in video. They believe, and I quote, they are the new gods on the planet. They say it all the time, Ricky. And so it is listen, they're not just the elites. This is their mindset as, quote, elites. It's their duty, Ricky. Don't you understand how altruistic these guys are? It is their duty to not only take over the planet with their technocracy and their technology, what the Bible alone calls the Antichrist kingdom, the beast system. Okay, we're seeing that formed by our very eyes. But these guys are not just technocrats, they're transhumanists. And it is their duty, they believe, that we need to, quote, speed up the process of evolution and now not just improve society as a whole, but humanity as a whole. And that's not a conspiracy theory. I'll give you 5 terms that are in print that describe their belief that it's their duty to do this to us, improve humanity, whether we want it or not, in a multitude of ways, including genetic modification. And that's just one way to get the job done. But it's called Human 2.0. It's called post-human humanity, post-human, and neo-humanity, augmented humanity, and people have already forgotten this, the Great Reset. The Great Reset was not just an economic reset. The other side of the coin was a reset of humanity to make humanity into better humans. That's transhumanist. And this is something that we took a deep dive on in our last documentary that you mentioned, the book, Trump and the Paradox Prophecies, because we dealt with 3 prophecy signs in that resource. And the first one was the 10-horn kingdom. And then I dealt with the technate map developed by the technocracy, building a new North America, which is one of the tin horn regions. And that's happening before our very eyes with the influence of these technocrats that are surrounding Trump. The second thing that I noticed, because I've done deep dives not just on AI, technocracy, and all that kind of stuff for a long time, I've done deep dives on transhumanism. What I also noticed that Trump was surrounding himself with, Ricky, in the White House, and they're meeting together as a group. They're all transhumanists. Everybody you just mentioned are transhumanists, right?
Yep.
Elon Musk, Sam Altman, Larry Ellison, Peter Thiel. You got the Google brothers, or Google boys, I call them. Larry Page, Sergey Brin. You got Tim Cook, the new CEO of Apple. You got Mark Zuckerberg. Believe it or not, you have Jared Kushner.
Yep.
Yeah, Bezos is definitely a transhumanist. He has a company called Calico for longevity of life research. Because again, they, in their arrogance, not only say they're the new gods, but they literally think through science and technology, they're not only going to bring utopia to the planet with this beast system, right? But they believe that they don't need God or Jesus, because through science and technology, they're going to live forever, right? And that's why Google and Apple and Zuckerberg and all these guys they're Silicon Valley, the technocrats, they're in a race to see, and Musk says it all the time too, to see who can achieve immortality through science and technology. Musk on tape said that with the mRNA technology, we can not only turn you into a blank butterfly if we wanted to. That means now you're not a human. But he clearly said that we could not only stop, but possibly reverse aging. And that's one of their methodologies, is why I don't need God. I don't need Jesus Christ. I'm just going to keep jabbing myself and jacking up my genome. And I'm just going to keep living forever. And this is their term, forever young. And I call it, no, you're forever dumb, because you're not going to escape your destiny with God, right?
Yep.
It is appointed man to die once, then face God. And Job 14:5 says, God has determined the length of our lives. We are not getting a minute longer, right? But I got these guys actually on tape, and one of these guys literally says, he's jacking up. He says, well, at the rate I'm going right now, he says, I am fully confident, and this is on video, I am fully confident that I'm going to live to at least 180, unless, of course, a truck hits me. And I'm going like, well, guess what, buddy? A truck's probably going to hit you, because you're not going to escape your destiny. But that's really what's going on behind this movement. These guys literally think they're the new demigods of the planet. And so back to your thing about, man, why would they do that? Why would they choose the Greek mythology characters? Why would they choose the gods this, the false gods of that, and whatever? Because it's the same mindset. They are literally taking over the planet. And they believe it's their duty, Ricky, to transform us into better humans. And we should be thanking them. It's like, no, leave me alone. And I always say this, it's just, it's the old phrase, power corrupts, right? Absolute power corrupts, absolutely, right? And because I'm going like, you guys got more money than anybody on the planet. You're the richest people. You influence governments all the time. You got power, you got money. You can do whatever you want. But apparently that's not good enough. Now you got to mess with humanity. Why don't you just go buy an island and leave the rest of us alone? But they're not. And I'm telling you, the Bible is the only book on the whole planet. That's why the enemy doesn't want you in here. The Bible is the only book on the planet that tells you exactly what this is that they're building. It's called the Antichrist kingdom, and you don't want to be a part of it.
Yep. And one of the things I want to go right into on this is we'll talk about this. There's this consensus among these guys, especially Elon Musk with Neuralink, that one of the ways that they're going to achieve this is to actually through BCI technology, which is brain chip interface. And they, I know I watched a recent interview you did, I think it was with Daystar, and you talked about that they will have direct access to your thoughts through this technology, which and talk about how this is going to gain them access, control, and what it means, what you'll actually be giving up in the name of what? Being able to walk again, or being able to carry out these, because that's the selling point. We know that that's what they're going to use to sell this, but there's a trap behind this.
Yeah, exactly. Well, again, the Bible tells us that there's going to be a marking system in the 7-year tribulation. We call it the mark of the beast, Revelation 13. And it says there clearly people are going to be biometrically connected to this system globally. And certainly that system's going to control the buying and selling, the economic factor. But I think it goes even deeper than that when you take a look at the technology. And one of the things that it says there is not just the right hand, but the forehead. And for years, I've been waiting for the head option to come on board, so to speak.
Same. Yep.
Because for many times, we know people already pay with their hand, scan with the hand, biochip with their hands. Now you don't even need the chip that you can do with the palm of your hand, and on and on it goes. And so, but when's the head thing coming in? Well, that's what's been working on the scenes for the last at least 10 years, maybe more. And I'll give you a case in point. 10 years ago, about 10 years ago, 2017, I have on video. It's a talk from the World Economic Forum. It's Klaus Schwab and Sergey Brin. And Klaus Schwab, in a very nonchalant way, and Sergey Brin, of course, is one of the co-founders of Google, and he just makes a sweeping motion to the whole audience. He goes, and Sergey, won't it be great when we all get brain chips? He says, and then we'll be able to do some interesting things. For instance, we will be able to instantly know how people are responding to our talk up here on stage, right? It's on video. That was 2017, right? So this has been the plan, that we're all going to get brain chips. And again, who just happens to be building the brain chip company? One of them, the biggest one, the well-known one. Musk, I'm telling you, he's a part of this, folks. He is not our friend, right? He's helping to build the B system, and he's going to make bank, right? And that's one of his motivating factors. But so this has been in play for a long time. Now, of course, they're not going to say, hey, we're going to mark you. We're going to put you into the B system that the Bible warned about 2,000 years ago. That's not a good advertising. That's bad marketing. So, of course, they got to make it sound great, right? And that's all you ever hear when it comes to this brain chip technology, Neuralink and others. They only sell you on the supposed good things. Number one, they're always big on, well, hey, those that can't walk, if you get a brain chip, you'll get your mobility back. Those that can't see, you will be able to see again. If you've been deaf, we can hear again. Now, I'm not saying thus saith the Lord, but I will say just those three factors, Ricky, based on what we just talked earlier. Have you ever thought about this? Those are the three big selling points to get this brain chip. If you get a brain chip, watch this, the new gods of the planet now will make the lame walk again, the blind see, and the deaf hear.
Yeah, that's what Musk said.
Do you see how
too.
arrogant these guys are? Do you see how arrogant they are? They're the Messiah. They're the new Messiah. They're technology. They're the new gods. You don't need Jesus. You need these guys. It's the ultimate satanic rebellion. And so that's how they pitch it, right? But what they don't tell you, and by the way, we're still waiting to see if that's actually even really going to happen, but let's say it did. What they're not telling you is the downside. And I have this actually on video and research. It's not a conspiracy theory. This is also what they're wanting to do. Back to even the Klaus Schwab. He admitted that those chips, maybe you'll see again, maybe you'll walk again. Okay, I'll give you that. But he clearly admitted in 2017, we're going to be able to monitor what you're thinking. It's not a conspiracy. It's on tape. And then I went deeper in that dive, and it's not just they'll monitor you in real time. That's part of the reason for these data centers they're putting around the world. Yep. You realize that America has 10 times more data centers than China.
Yep.
Yeah, nobody realizes that, right? And it's like, what kind of a beast system are you building here? Well, this is what is needed for this beast system. The data centers house all the things they're monitoring. And it's not just your financial transactions. It's not just the Big Brother TVs. It's this biometric data that they're getting from us externally, or when they flip the switch to what's called the IOB system, the Internet of Body system, and then they're going to begin to monitor that. Well, you got to house that somewhere. That's massive amounts of nonstop data, 24/7, right? Well, that's why they're building the data centers. We are literally watching it happen before our very eyes. Yep. So imagine they get all these data centers going, which are almost there, and then they flip the switch and AI taps into all that. That means AI, Ricky, they know this is not science fiction. It's almost here. They will be able to literally monitor everything that goes on, not just on the outside of you, but on the inside. And that includes your thoughts. And then if you don't think that they're going to be able to monitor your thoughts, they're already pitching this in the medical industry. You do the research yourself. They're saying, okay, for those of you that stumbled on the thread that they're going to be able to monitor your thoughts, hey, don't worry, because we're going to be able to do some great things for you. And in the medical community right now, they're pitching these brain chips because they say it's going to allow us to cure Here it is: PTSD and depression. Right,
Yeah,
and
I
what they
just read
say, and they
about that.
admit.
Yep.
Right. Well, but listen to what they admit, and here's how they pitch it. Wouldn't it be great if we can go into your brain with this brain chip, and we can delete the section of your brain that holds those thoughts that are causing the PTSD or are causing the depression? Wouldn't that be great? Then you wouldn't suffer from those epidemics anymore, would you? Well, okay, in theory, but here's the point. What if you make a mistake? Or my point is,
yeah.
How do I know you'll stop there?
Right.
I mean, the importance of what we're talking about here, Ricky, is the last vestige of freedom is right here.
Yep.
And these evil satanic people are going after even that. When you give them your mind, access to your mind, it is complete game over, right? And so my point is, so if you can not just monitor my thoughts, but now delete my thoughts, what else are you going to delete? Because AI is going to be monitoring it the whole time. What if the government passes a law that says it's illegal to think that your religion is the only way? And you're thinking, well, they ain't going to tell me what to think. Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
You took the brain chip, didn't you? You see what I'm saying? Dude, it opens up so much Pandora's boxes.
Scary stuff, man.
And then they could go in against your will. You will have no control because you already got connected to the B system, and they will delete everything and make you, quote, the perfect citizen. Larry Ellison already said on tape what he's planning on doing with the AI Stargate program with the Big Brother system. He says, quote, and I quote, everybody is going to be on their best behavior. That is a direct quote. Right. And then not just on the outside monitoring, Ricky, I'm telling you, it's the inside monitoring. So then it goes both ways. So if you can delete something, then that means you could probably insert something that wasn't there before, but you wouldn't know because it's internal and you think it's your own thought. And believe it or not, that's being pitched. That's being pitched in two ways, right? How many people out there who love technology and who don't know Jesus Christ would fall for this scenario? Wouldn't it be great if you could just have instant learning? You know, of course, it's not going to be free. You have to pay for the module. But wouldn't it be great if, like the Matrix movie, bingo. Wouldn't it be great if you could have a, like, you know, the Matrix movie, the first one, when Neo, when he got jacked up in the back of the head, and they flood him with all this information, downloaded it in his brain, and then he woke up, and what did he say? Hey, I know Kung Fu. You know, so he instantly learned Kung Fu. That's what they're pitching, Ricky. If you would just give us access to your brain, right? We'll delete all the bad thoughts. And then for a subscription, what do you want to learn? You want to be an Italian chef, right? You want to learn a skill with whatever, you know, all that stuff. And again, it's not going to be free. They're going to make bank on that. Now, but I actually also, watch this, watch how far it goes. They also, this is in a scientist, a neuroscientist guy in the UK, and he's given an interview over there. And he admitted to the subscription-based model with this information. And he wasn't focusing so much on the learning aspect. He was focusing on the entertainment aspect. And what he was saying was he envisions very soon with this technology that we will be able to pick our dreams at night as we scroll through. You know, the technocrats will have dreams that we could download into our brain. He says, but of course it'll be a subscription, or, you know, $1.99 for each one. You got to pick, you know. And, you know, he said, you just scroll through what dream you want, just like Netflix. And he didn't say this, but I did. I says, well, what are you going to call it? Dreamflix? But here's my point. How many people would fall for that?
Oh, yeah.
How many people would say, man, this is great. But you know what you just gave up? The last vestige of human freedom. You gave them access to your mind. Now, I also have it on tape, and this is from DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Project Agency that I've been working on for a long time with those guys. And those guys are the guys who make all the military candy and high-tech candy. They were involved in the pandemic and all that stuff. And so they're on the cutting edge stuff of what they're doing. But for years, Ricky, they've been working on not just super soldiers and genetic modification, but the cyborg technology, merging soldiers with machines, and not just with prosthetics to make them jump higher
The iron and clay.
exoskeletons, they
Yep.
call it, right? But they're also planning on, if they haven't already done it, talking about making, and I quote, remote control soldiers, the perfect fighting machine, and that they will be able to override any sense of fear. And they will basically, if you start to freak out, they'll zap that part out of you. You'll become an absolutely fearless soldier. And worst case scenario, they can begin to steer you, remote control. I have actual video clips, and this was at least 15 years ago. So what do you got today? They were demonstrating with these brain chips. I have the video demonstrating the brain chips. They were literally steering a mouse through a maze. It wasn't the mouse doing it. It was the guys, because they had access. It was a remote control mouse. And they admitted that's what DARPA's working on. So, okay, so go back to everything else we talked about. So then does that mean if you get a brain chip that push comes to shove and you don't want to do something they tell you to do, they'll make you do it? Or, and I think this is also part of the game, is if any ounce of resistance happens, they'll push a button and you're dead. I'm going to turn the TV off. And it's like, man, you talk about, and again, and then go to Revelation when it says those who take the mark, you are doomed straight to hell. There's no redemption for those who take the mark. The Bible's very clear about that. A lot of people say,
14,
well, you mean to tell me they can't turn around? No, the Bible's very clear. There is no escape. You take that mark, you're doomed to hell.
Or worship the image.
I'm not saying thus saith the Lord, but you look at this brain option, the head option for this beast system, and if, yes, it controls the buying and selling, there's a financial aspect. But what if it's a lot other stuff that we're talking about? And then think about it. AI is now monitoring your thoughts. Just imagine this scenario. You're in the 7-year tribulation. You've rejected Christ. That's why you're there. And you took the mark. And then let's say all of a sudden you start to have a moment of regret. And you start to think about your Christian friend who disappeared prior to this time at the rapture. Wow, I really should have accepted Jesus. Boom, that's your trigger word, and immediately it'll be deleted. You will never make it across the finish line, right? Because they monitor your thoughts in real time. Or you get punished for thinking that thought, a zap, and you'll never think about God or Jesus again because, man, that hurt too much. Or the moment you do, they push a button, you're dead. All current technology, and this is part of what they plan. This is in print, on video. And so I'm not saying thus saith the Lord, but it starts to answer to me why these people who take this mark in the right hand or the head, the forehead, oh, you're doomed, man. You just gave up the last vestige of freedom. You became a remote control human for them, and you get out of line, you're dead meat. You'll never make it across the finish line to receiving the good news of Jesus Christ. And that's what these sickos are after, Ricky.
Man, you got my wheels spinning. Okay, I got two things I want to interject. Number one, I thought about this too. The Bible talks about in Revelation that a grievous sore develops on those who take the mark. And now we've sat around and we've pondered, what is that? Is that some type of judgment? Or could it be, and again, this is an hypothesis, that they have realized that they've doomed themselves and they're trying to cut this thing out of their hand and it's caused a grievous sore or whatnot, or they've shut this thing down and it kind of like it's self-imploded or it exploded in their body, causing this grievous sore. You made me think about that. Number two, now guys, don't blast me when I say this, because again, I have a testimony a little bit not as radical as Billy, but I wasn't involved in some of the deeper things that he was. But I came out of darkness into his marvelous light. So I'm going to reference something in my BC days before Christ. But it reminded me, Billy, there was a movie out and it was a series called Halloween. And now when I was a kid, my mother would watch all these stupid shows. Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween. Halloween had all of these sequels to it. Well, on the third installment of Halloween, it was completely different than the entire series, and it didn't even have anything to do with Michael Myers. And it had to do with this sinister group of individuals created these Halloween masks, and they had a chip on the mask, and then they would create a program. So, and when these children would put these masks on, and this music would play, it would go across the nation, and this music would play. When you put this mask on, the children or the people, adults, it would feed into this system, and this chip would purposely malfunction. It would kill them. And I thought, man, when you were talking about this, like, it all makes sense now to me. The image of the beast, the whole thing, the control. If these people take this mark, it's connected to the data centers, connected to AI, connected to the BCI. It makes so much sense. I want to shift gears and talk about I do believe there's a supernatural demonic element to this. I believe that it's not a coincidence that these tech giants who want to make themselves gods are, and I don't like using this word, but it's the only thing I can think of, is I believe that they're channeling demonic entities and spirits when they're using these mythological quote unquote gods. And I want to talk about, in your book, you connect today's transhumanist movement directly to Genesis 6 and the prophecy of Matthew 24:37, and also in Luke 17, as it were in the days of Noah. So talk about how this this technological and even the genetic hybridization parallel, how this parallels with Genesis 6, the Nephilim.
Oh yeah, man. How much time do you got? What a loaded statement. That's great. Let me first give you another piece of evidence, not just these people's occult background, but let me give you some evidence of what you just stated. You're spot on. The demonic influence of these guys building this system. I came across a gym a couple of years ago in research, and it was one of the guys in Silicon Valley who's developing AI, and it was a secular interview. And at the very end of the interview, the guy asks the Silicon Valley engineer, "Hey, what is your inspiration for building this AI? You know, where do you come up with this?" And I kid you not, the guy looks at him just very nonchalant and just said, "Oh," he says, "well, here's what I do. Every morning I get in the office and I meditate." He says, "and then I meditate until all of a sudden," he says, "I connect with beings that they told me are from our future. And they're here to help us to speed up the process of AI." And of course, you and I would know,
Wow.
biblically, you're talking about the guy's channeling, he's connecting with demons, demon spirits, familiar spirits, and things of that nature. And then he says, and so then I open myself up, and this is his words. I got it on video. And he says, and then they start downloading this information into my brain. And he says, and then I come out of my meditative state, and that's what I work on for the day to develop AI.
Yikes.
There is a demonic tie into this, folks.
Man.
Whether it's the occult background or where are they getting this information? Why is it happening so fast? Well, these guys are involved with actual demonic input. But Genesis 6, yeah, Jesus said that's the smoking gun prophecy, right? How do you know it's going to get close when he comes back? He talks about the return of the days of Lot and the return of the days of Noah. Matthew 24:37, as it was in the days of Noah, so it will be again at the coming of the Son of Man. So the logical question is, well, what was going on in the days of Noah, to see if it's being repeated, to give us an indicator that Jesus is getting ready to come back. And Genesis 6 clearly talks about how one of the reasons why God judged the planet so severely with a global flood was because the sons of God, fallen angels, were commingling with the daughters of men, and they produced a hybrid human called Nephil in the Hebrew, Nephilim, literally a giant. And so basically, in a nutshell, mankind was being hybridized out into non-humans. Now, this is the whole background that we just described of transhumanism.
Yep.
Right? They are hybridizing mankind out into non-humans. In fact, let me see if I can't freak you guys out a little bit. I actually asked that proverbial question to a geneticist. This was probably 5 years ago. A geneticist who's in this arena, genetically modifying things with epigenetic technology. And I asked her, I said, number one, I said, is it possible to inject an organism with a solution to modify their genome? She said, yes, of course, that's what she's actually working on. I said, how long does it take before you see physical effects with your own eyes, no microscope, whatever? She said, oh, about 2 to 3 minutes, right? And then we started talking about Captain America. I said, is that possible that you could take somebody who's small physically and jack them up with the blue fluid, put them in a cooker, and he comes out super strong? And she goes, oh yeah. And we went all over the place. We talked about Jurassic Park, bringing back those animals, all the things that they're working on now. This was at least 5 years ago. And then I got onto the topic. I says, well, here's the elephant in the room. We know they're already genetically modifying us with the food supply. And of course, post this interview, you had the pandemic and the jabs and all that stuff that went along with that. And we got chemtrails. We got all the different ways that they're modifying the human genome, by the way, against our will.
And they're creating vaccines too.
Yes,
These
exactly.
new vaccines. Yeah.
Right. Which tells you it's not going to go away just because Trump's in office again. So, and that's a whole nother topic. So I asked the proverbial question, well, man, how long and how much do you need to be genetically modified before you literally become a non-human? You know what she said, Ricky? 1%. If 1% of your genome is modified technically, scientifically, you're no longer a human. See, a lot of people got to think, well, I'm not a human anymore when I all of a sudden grow a third arm out of my back. No, it happened a long time before that.
Wow.
And this is from an actual geneticist there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have it on film. So, but this is what's going on today. There is a repeat of the days of Noah. Mankind is being hybridized. Now, last time it was this commingling with demons and the daughters of men, etc. This time it's still a commingling with science and technology, but it's doing the same thing. It's producing, if you will, a hybrid, a human hybrid with that. Now, not everybody who's hybridized out today is becoming giant. That was a thread back then. But I will say a lot of the technology, they are manipulating humans, mixing and matching them with animals to have giant effects, giant super strength, supervision, all kinds of stuff. We can go down deep on that if you ever want to. And so, but basically, people don't realize it's not coming. It's already being done. It's well underway for many years now, and it's being done against our will across the planet. The repeat of the days of Noah are here, and you wonder why Jesus Christ is coming back again to put a stop to it.
Exactly. Well, we're almost wrapped. We've got about 20 more minutes. I want to focus a little bit on the image of the beast, because I am 110% convinced that all of this mess is going to tie in with Revelation 13. Now, just for our audience that may be watching, listening, let me give you a little bit of a backdrop on this. In Revelation 13, there's a misconception, and I hear, even to this day, I hear people they misquote this, or they get this wrong, and they say the Antichrist introduces the image of the beast, and he introduces the mark of the beast. That's not true. If you go read Revelation 13, it's the second beast with the lamb with two horns that speaks like a dragon. He is the one that introduces. Now, we've talked about the mark of the beast. Let's talk about the image of the beast. What is always fascinating to me is that if you read Revelation 13, it says he picks individuals out in the world to create this image. And I already know what you're going to say on this, but I've told our audience, if the Lord is going to come back soon, I could absolutely see that the individuals that will be handpicked and selected are the technocrats who have the innovation, they have the skills, the resources, and it's all these people that we just talked about that will create this image. In light of current breakthroughs in lifelike autonomous avatars, holograms, and the list goes on, how close do you see this becoming a reality here?
Well, as you mentioned, really, Ricky, it's already here.
Right.
If you're looking at a combination of this technology, communication technology, AI, the databases, whether it be an avatar type image, whether it be a robotic image, whether it be a combination of both, maybe it's all these things that it taps into. It's already here. And that's why, again, even unfortunately in our own country, the United States of America, they're building these data centers as fast as they can. And again, my concern is you'd think here in America, we'd be the biggest resistors. And there are people starting to resist, but they're coming to the wrong conclusion, Ricky. The only motive apparently for the resistance is I don't want my bill to go up, and I want to reserve my water rights. Okay, that's true, but you're missing the point. It's way worse than that, folks.
But
You wish that all you had was a high electric bill. This thing is the beast system that they're building. Now, with that beast system, that image says it can speak and cause all who refuse to worship it to obey. And you're right, the false prophet is the one that gets people to worship this image and against an order. Now, I'm not saying thus saith the Lord, but the false prophet, the false prophet, but people say, well, it's not the Pope. Well, he seems to be working pretty hard to get the job, but anyway, whatever. I don't know if it is that guy, but my point is, if you even wanted to flirt with that idea, then you look at certainly the religion of Catholicism. And Ricky, what's one of their big tools they use in their quote worship?
well,
Images,
right. Yes, exactly.
statues, icons.
Big about that. Ikonai is the Greek word for image, where we get
Right,
icon.
exactly.
Yep.
So I'm not saying thus saith the Lord, but let's say if it was, let's say the false prophet was wrapped in with Catholicism, whatever, because by the way, Catholicism right now is roping in all religions on the planet. You can't escape that. Even the new Pope, man, he is just going high gear on all religions under the umbrella of the Vatican. But either way, you got image technology built in, because it says there they worship, and the order is you need to worship. So yes, you need to make a choice, but it's combined with worship with that. But you put all this AI, data center, Big Brother technology together, and I actually have on video, and this again would be, now it's probably at least 7 years ago, a video from Auckland University. In fact, I was just down there and I shared it with them in one of my messages. I said, this came from you guys. And they went, what? We didn't know. And it was called AI Baby. And it was just showing you how far the avatar combined with AI, this image, had come. And the gentleman was doing a demo for the guy. And so basically the image technology can be made into anything that looks exactly like any human, male or female, skin color. It was so lifelike, Ricky. You could actually see the little pockets, little skin pockets of the skin. It was so lifelike and everything. I mean, the facial, it didn't look like, some cartoon thing, bot thing online or whatever. This was like, man, that looks like a real person behind that computer screen in way beyond 3D. I mean, it's just like, whoa, it's like, you wanted to poke that person in the eye. It was that realistic. And it wasn't just the image quality. They had combined it already with AI. Now, here's where it gets freaky. This was at least 7 years ago. And this is what you admit. So what do you really got that we don't know about? But anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So he says, well, let's create this AI image baby. So it could have been an adult, could have been a man, female, whatever they want. So he just showed, and basically AI baby, it was really like a toddler age. So like a little kid that was like 3 years old. And so he says, well, get AI baby's attention. So he taps on the computer screen, and the AI baby focuses and looks right at the guy, and and this is non-scripted response. This is all in real time, right? So the AI baby totally looks like a toddler, looks at him, and then he says, okay, hold up this book, and I want you to quiz AI baby. And so he held up this pictorial book, this kid's book, and it was a picture of an apple. He didn't say anything. He goes, hi, AI baby, AI baby, what's this? It looks at it through the computer screen, Ricky, and it goes, apple. Mm-hmm. Non-scripted. It was interacting through the computer screen, this image that looked like a real toddler, and in real time, it knew exactly what he was holding up. So he keeps testing it. He pulls up what's this one? Doggy, right? It got everyone 100%. And so again, that was 7 years ago. And so and what does the image do? It speaks, and then it says it orders that all who refuse to worship it, the image, you're going to die. Right?
Yeah.
That technology is already here, Ricky. You combine that with AI, a person, you can make it into a robot. You can make it to an image. It could be behind a computer screen. It could be outside with a hologram. You got plenty of options on the planet, and it might be all of them, right? But when the time comes, like Nebuchadnezzar's statue, and you don't bow down and worship this, honoring the beast system, right? That image will know, and it will then give an order to have you killed. It's already here.
Yeah, I mean, I've said we talked about this a couple weeks ago. A school district in New York, they were going to bring in an AI teacher. It was a robot, AI, synthetic flesh, real hair, but there was an outcry, so they stopped it temporarily. But I don't know if you saw this, but then there was a new private school that's opening in Oklahoma, and it'll have all AI teachers. So we talked about that. And then you've got,
Do you know who's pushing that?
The one in Oklahoma,
AI education.
right? Which
Melania.
Right, I remember that, and she brought out that robot, and by the way, Trump, her husband, we're talking about the data centers and all this. This is our president of the United States said when they pressed him on this, an interview, he said, "We can't fight this. We just
Get used to it.
Get used to it, embrace it, go along with it." Yeah. And we know why that is. But my thing is, and then you have the rapid rise in people forming deep emotional and psychological bonds with AI companions. And the more we introduce these things into classrooms, and I know you're going to agree with me on this, it's conditioning a whole generation of children to accept and call normal conversations and engagements with synthetic beings, which we know this is conditioning us and preparing us for this.
And to do exactly what the text implies. They weren't just interacting with the image. What are they supposed to be doing? Worship. Now, worship is a whole different level of, quote, relationship. And like, who's going to have a relationship with an image? You know, a lot of people scoff at that. Well, not anymore. You take a look at this exact same technology, AI technology, whether it's an image on a computer screen, and whether it's in a robotic form, it doesn't matter. It's an image, it's an icon. But the point is, what are we seeing right now, Ricky? People are getting so familiar with this AI image technology that they're what? What's the latest trend? Especially in Asian countries, but it's here in America, it's in Europe, it's everywhere. Well, it's AI boyfriend and girlfriends.
Yeah, China had to put a halt to it.
Right, exactly. So that's a, quote, deeper level of intimacy with an image. Insane. And then I've actually got also on video, especially when you combine this AI technology with holograms, right? They're actually having AI hologram concerts all over the realm to bring, and I'll just give you one example, and this is anime. Anime is huge in Asia. Yeah. So they're taking everybody's favorite anime figures, and then they're bringing them to life on a stage. You can go to an anime concert, and they sing and do their rock songs and all this kind of stuff. And one of them, I actually have the film of these people, and it's just an image, Ricky. It's one of their anime. I forget the character, Hatsuki. Don't quote me on that, but it's something like that. But anyway, it's a famous anime female character, and she's singing, doing her songs on stage. And you should see the people, dude. It's just an image. It's a hologram. They are almost like they're worshiping her. They're beside themselves. And so this ability for people to not just interact with an image to have the ability that can go global, that can give a global communication, that can know what people are doing or thinking or whatever, can give an order, could speak in real time, could ascertain whether or not you obeyed or not, and to be at the level where people could really literally develop a relationship with this image, even to the point of worship. Ricky, it's all here.
I'm going to tell you a true story. When I used to live out in Indiana before I moved down here to Georgia. I went to a mega church. It was a campus of it. It wasn't the main facility was a campus. And we went and, cause we were just checking it out. I was trying to be a fly on the wall here and just listen to everything. So when it came for the pastor to speak, it was not the pastor. It was a hologram of the pastor speaking on the platform. He was at the main campus, and his hologram would come up at all the other smaller campuses. And I told my wife, I was like, we're out of here. This is creepy. This is weird. No, we're not doing this. But it makes you wonder, man, And you and I both know this. The apostate church in the last days is going to eat this up. They're going to embrace this 100%.
Yeah. Well, and they already are. In fact, there's going to be a complete replacement of the traditional pastor, dare I say the biblical pastor. Other, quote, religions, I mean, even though Christianity is not religion, it's a relationship, I get that. But to use their secular idea of us, other religions are already going down that route. Yeah. There's different Europe, and because a lot of people, they don't have the pastor that they need, or bishop, or whatever, or priest. And so they're already turning to image and robotic technology. There's a robotic Buddha priests that they're already implementing. And part of it is a financial thing, right? They have a shortage of them, and you got to pay like $4,000 to do your Buddhist rites at a funeral, right? That's part of their tradition. Well, if you do the robotic one, he'll do just as good his job, but we're only going to charge you $2,000. So that's been going on for years. Catholicism's getting into it. Even what's supposed to be Protestantism in Europe, they're starting to bring in AI pastors. In one, this is in print. I'm not joking. They were starting to pitch over here in America, and they said, wouldn't it be great if your pastor could deliver as good of sermons as Jonathan Edwards? Because it's all AI, right? And things of that nature. So a lot of that is already starting to come to America, where it's not a real human giving you your sermon in our realm, or eulogy or whatever in another religion. And I think that's also part of the beast system, right? Because they're going to control all religions. And again, now if AI is in control of it and in control of who delivers it, they control everything. It's the ultimate thought police. So that's a whole new development. The other one is, I'll just give you some alarming news. Even the Protestant church, they're already going down that route. Number one, I just got back from San Jose, and I do this everywhere I speak, but I always open up, if you've heard me preach at a conference or speaking engagement, I always open up to the opening text. Open up your Bibles to, Revelation this or this text or Genesis there, whatever. Let's read it together. I do that on purpose because I know the trend is most Christians don't bring their Bibles to the church services anymore. So basically, I tell them after we open the text, I say, "Oh, hey, wait a second. How many of you guys are Christians? Raise your hand." They raise their hand. "Hey, how many of you guys are Christian? Let's be honest, man. You forgot your Bible." And they raise their hand, put it back. I said, "No, leave it up. I says, "Now slap yourself. Bring your Bible." Now, the reason why I say that in jest, but it's very serious, is because how do you know you're not being lied to if you don't check it according to the Word? Now, what's even more dangerous is you're already having Christians who don't bring their Bible, but their only Bible is on this device. Now, if your only Bible is electronic, it's not coming, it's already being done. AI is already changing the Bible, but you wouldn't know because you have no hard copy to reference it. This is the other thing that's going on. The second thing that's going on is, okay, let's say you still have a human pastor, and let's say you even have your Bible. But see, people are under the assumption that your so-called shepherd is doing what he's supposed to be doing, praying every week, trusting in the Lord's leading. He's in there every day working on his sermon, 7 days leading up to Sunday. And this is a direct message from God, from his word, that he used your shepherd to give to you what you need to hear. Oh, folks, I hate to be bearer of bad news. Those days are long gone. And the first trend with that, Ricky, was they got so lazy. I actually had people confess this to me. I'm going like, I'll stand over here while the lightning bolt gets you. They don't even write their sermons. They have a staff member do it for them. And they're just the face. That was step one. Step two, and I hate to burst people's bubbles, but step two, then they begin to cheat. With the birth of the internet and stuff, you can go to sermoncentral.com or sermons.com. You can just download it. And then that's when, if you recall, that's when we started to hear the same message, the same series across all the United States. It's like, how do you guys agree with each other? That's the same thing. Because they're downloading from the same place, you lazy liars.
Pathetic.
Okay. Then, now it's moved into the next dangerous phase, And that is, guess who's writing the so-called sermons today, Ricky?
Chat GPT, Gemini, Claude.
Bingo. That is not the Spirit of God, folks. And so basically that's the danger zone that we're in, is AI is going to control everything, this image, the religion, the whole beast system. And I'm telling you, that's the importance of the data centers, the data sitters. It's all out, cat's out of the bag. And I'm telling you, I'm warning you guys now, go do the search. China has about 350 to 400 data centers. We already see what they're doing with that amount, with the social credit score system. Ricky, we've got about 4,000 in America, 10 times the amount of China. Right. What are you building? Right. This is an electronic tyranny, folks, that is not acceptable. And I'm telling you, I'm glad people are starting to resist, but you better get your head expanded with what you really should be resisting about. It isn't just high electric bills and water. It's everything we're talking about. It's being built before our very eyes.
Yep. We got about 4 minutes. I got to get your thoughts on this. So I know you know about, and the report that came out. We did a podcast on this, and I warned people: if you have a physical copy of your Bible, you better get more, buy them, keep them. Anthropic, I know you know about this. They're buying up millions of copies of books and completely destroying them. The binding, destroying them, and they're making, quote, digitalized copies. And a judge okayed this, has no problem with this. And look, I'll take out my tinfoil hat, put it on. But is this a modern day book burning, or am I overreacting on this?
No, it's exactly what it is, right? Because you're centralizing and controlling information.
Yes.
A lot of information that we get is still the classic way that's been in existence throughout most of our history, is books. And if you make everything electronic, then that means you control all information.
Yes.
That's the bottom line, Ricky. And that's why I'm not just saying this to sell a product, so to speak, but like with our material, a lot of people say, okay, I get it, you guys do books. Why are you still doing DVDs? Who watches DVDs? Well, actually, believe it or not, right. And I'll be honest with you, I don't. Well, we do the digital download, whatever. But why we encourage people to get the DVDs, there's still a big audience, and it's starting to surge upward. You know why? Because people are now learning the hard way. They got rid of all their DVDs, the hard copy of their whole collection. And guess what? They're being notified out of the blue. Oops, sorry.
Yeah.
That company got sold and we're starting all over. You lost everything in the cloud, right? Or if it's all in the cloud, then they could delete it. Or if you do something bad, you don't get access. And this is why we are encouraging people, get the hard copy, right? Because again, we don't copyright our media. So let's say they go and delete all the presence out there of all this information. Hey, we can play that game too. Make 1 billion copies. We don't care. Get it out. And so we want people to have the hard copy of the word, right? Get the hard copy of the book. But we live in a visual society, right? They could delete all the visuals, right? And so, well, guess what? Then get the hard copy of that too.
Yep, absolutely. All right, in 1 minute, why don't you give us, for those that are watching, listening, maybe somebody invited you in, you don't even know what are these guys talking about, and maybe this is scaring the daylights out of you. I want Billy to look into that camera, give them a word of encouragement. How are they supposed to navigate through all this? Because we can't fight these data centers. We can't do this, or can we? Or what are we supposed to do based on the Word of God?
Based on the Word of God, 3 things. We're the salt, we're the light. 2 Thessalonians 2, we're the last days resistance. We are to speak up on the data centers and everything. The vernacular there, the restraining influence, kateko, means to withhold the course thereof. Basically, we're to be the fly in these guys' ointment. We're to be the whistleblowers. So we don't operate out of spirit of fear, but we warn people this is what's coming. But then we use that as a springboard of not just what's coming, but here's the good news. You could run to Jesus Christ and be safe from it, because the system they're building is in the 7-year tribulation. We're going to leave prior to the rapture. So we use this information that even the lost realize, hey, there's something dangerous about this. And we say, yeah, you're absolutely right. In fact, let me tell you where it's headed and why you don't want to be here. But here's the good news. You don't have to, if you would ask Jesus Christ to save you right now. That's what we need to be up and busy about doing. Amen.
Again, guys, getalifemedia.com. be sure to bookmark that website. Go check out Billy's products. He speaks frequently at conferences. Billy, are you going to be in Branson in December?
Yes.
I will be
Lord
there.
willing, we'll be there. Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, I'm not speaking, but I'm coming just to come and hang out and meet some new, meet some face to face with a lot of you guys that I haven't met in person. I'm bringing my recording equipment, so I'm hoping to get maybe some little small 10-minute segments in between the conference speaking and stuff. So looking forward to that. We'll see you then. If we don't see each other, if we don't talk before then, looking forward to hanging out with you guys in Missouri come December at the Prophecy Watchers Conference.
It's gonna be great.
So Billy, again, thank you so much, man, taking the time out to be with us. Man, what a great segment. I think I'm sure everybody's going to love it. Again, guys, like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. We appreciate you so much. Billy, until we see you guys, or until we see you on the next one, thank you again for coming on.
Amen. Thanks for having me, Ricky.
All right, guys. So again, thank you so much for being a part of the program. Again, don't forget, guys, we do have a free app, and you can pick it up today, Apple, Android. Again, whatever your device is, we got you covered. Right there on the screen, you just go to your Play Store, type in End Time Headlines, look for the acronym, the ETH logo, download the app, or you can scan that QR code right there. Get all the podcast breaking news, the headlines, everything will be right there at your fingertips. And again, don't forget, if you enjoy these type of messages, our content, it's informative, it's educating to you, it's equipping to you, you're blessed by our ministry, and you'd like to know more about partnering with End Time Headlines, here's a quick video on that, and we'll be right back.
If you enjoy our content and would like to partner with End Time Headlines, helping us make more people aware of the times and seasons which we are in from a prophetic perspective, you can go to endtimeheadlines.org and click Support. Here you can give a one-time gift or a monthly pledge on our main website. This page also shows you how to give electronically through Cash App or Venmo. If you would like to give by check or money order, you can make it out to End Time Headlines at P.O. Box 1391, Monroe, Georgia 30655. Or you can give through our free End Time Headlines app by pressing the bottom right button that says Donate.
All right, guys. So again, that's going to wrap it up. Again, don't forget, Lord willing, we will be back here tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, same time, same place, same channel, with more great content. Until we see you guys on the next one, I pray the Lord bless you, keep you, and may his countenance shine upon you. We'll see you then.
Thank you for listening to the End Time Headlines podcast. We pray that you've been blessed and equipped by today's message. For more information about how you can help partner with our ministry, please visit endtimeheadlines.org.